UFOs and aliens. Is there anybody out there? We touched on this very briefly, Michah, but do you believe that people are actually being abducted by aliens for sinister experimentation and the infamous anal probe?
Well, I'll tell you this. There's been a lot of research that's come out in recent months. I mean, that's how recent this is. Literally, I can't even say years yet. And it seems to point to the notion that a lot of the abduction lore is kind of interlinked with hypnotism, which is something that we really have to take a very careful look at. I don't doubt that people can be hypnotized, but the question, and what we need to really understand better, is how susceptible people are to influence while under the influence of hypnotism. And I think it was actually an article by Carol Rainey that appeared in the Paratopia magazine titled Co-Creation of a Phenomenon, that literally was talking about, how much of what we accept as an integral part of the UFO phenomenon, alien abduction theories, how much of that is actually something that may have been the result of influence on part of the hypnotists. Now, there are arguments both for and against, and I'll tell you this, in terms of whether I think that there is indeed abduction occurring and how it is related to UFOs, I think that there's clearly something going on, but I think that there's also enough evidence to warrant a second look, and I'm actually one to say I call for potential, at very least temporary, removal of the two, study of UFOs as flying objects, and then the study of what we call alien abduction. Remove those two from one another so that they don't influence each other, to use that term again, and study the two separate elements so that we can try and come to a common ground. And if indeed there are patterns and correlations, then we can look at them as the whole sum of some strange phenomenon we're trying to come to terms with.
Makes perfect sense. And by the way, I've suffered the infamous anal probe, but it was for a colonoscopy. So I can only imagine. I can only imagine what the aliens are doing. And mind you, they're supposed to be more advanced, so shouldn't they have much more better medical equipment, Craig? Who knows? Listen, I want to thank you ever so much for joining us. It's been a great pleasure talking to you. Let our listeners know how they can find out more about you and where they can get their very own copy of Exposed, Uncovered, and Declassified UFOs and Aliens. Is there anybody out there?
This book, I'm very glad to say, is going to be available in bookstores everywhere. You can also visit newpagebooks.com. And heck, I'll have a link up also at gralienreport.com. And, of course, that URL, which you have so kindly given out many times already, is www.gralienreport.com. So come check it out. I'm Michah Hanks, and, you can always email me if you have, updates, postscripts, and additions you'd like to add after you've read the article. And that email is info@gralienreport.com. So, Rob, thanks so much.
It's been a great pleasure. Look forward to talking to you again in the future, and keep the great work up.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye now. Michah Hanks has been my guest this hour. He is one of the contributors who did an original essay for a brand new book by our good friends at New Page Books, Exposed, Uncovered, and Declassified UFOs and Aliens. Is there anybody out there? After watching CNN every morning, I often wonder if they're really looking for intelligent life, what the hell they're doing here. I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break as the X Zone continues from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away.